Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and we are at the beautiful Lake Tahoe reviewing the 2025 Ford Explorer ST. You may have noticed some things that are different on the styling, especially the rear taillights, how they go all the way across the back. But other than that, it seems pretty similar to the previous ones. So this is a baby ST. This one is called the ST line. It's the 2.3 liter EcoBoost. The other ST gets the 3.0 liter 400 horsepower one. So it's a little bit underpowered compared to its bigger brother. So as a general walk around, it looks pretty much the same as before. Very nice sized wheels here with red calipers that made it look really nice. A nice grille here again. I think it needs the ST badge in there. Tell me what you guys think. So the ST badge on this one does appear up on the fender, but it does say ST line on it. But the red brakes are a big giveaway, and they handled pretty well. No brake fade or vibrations or anything, not even coming down Tahoe. That's a pretty steep grade on the way back. But this is a mid-size family SUV. And again, the taillights, I think, are the main thing that look different this year, how they go all the way across the back. But one of the main things I noticed drive-wise is this one says four-wheel drive, but there were no four-wheel drive switches. It's probably all automatic now. It has a Class 3 tow hitch rated at 5,000 pounds, which really is not a lot. Check my video description on towing capacities, which also covers payloads. As for the button to open the rear hatch, it's over here on the right-hand side. I had to kind of find it and feel around for it for a minute. But it is auto lift gate, and it also does come down with the button. All right, ST, one of my favorite things about this, the paddle shifters. Wait, no paddle shifters on an ST? Isn't that the purpose? There's nothing over here either, just basically drive, neutral, reverse, and park. A low button, doesn't do much. Drive modes. But, you know, what's the point of even having an S button with no paddle shifters? Okay, so first impressions. Very comfortable seats. I really do like them. Probably my favorite part is the heated seat. It is actually very hot. I love it when it's really hot like this. And so much that you'll start sweating and it doesn't just turn itself off. So when you want heated seats, you got it here. Wish it had cooled seats as well. But the heated seats are great. And the heated steering wheel is fantastic. Goes around the whole steering wheel. These seats are very comfortable. I really like the materials that they are, even though that this is kind of a cloth on the inside. It's still very comfortable. The heated seats are awesome. They're almost burning hot and they don't turn off, which I really like. Now you do only really get lumbar down here, and it is an awesome lumbar. You can probably see the difference that that makes, but it really comes out on that. But that's about all you do get. Nothing out here. The side bolsters, nothing like that, at least on this model. And as always, the seats could probably come out another inch or so for people like me with long legs. But other than that, it's pretty basic. No cooled seats on this model. The steering wheel is really nice. I especially like how back here you have a very comfortable position. I know that you want the 9 and 2, which is nice. But right here is pretty comfortable too on the backside. The stitching looks really nice throughout. It has a place to put your phone here, though it does not appear to charge. I think that's just a place to put your phone. And very basic here. So you just have the volume and radio. Auto start and stop, which I don't like that feature, but I'm glad that you can turn it off, but you do have to turn it off every single time. Parking assist and chimes, that's all that really does. Whether you can turn that on and off. Hazard lights, the camera, so that is nice. So when you're wanting to park, if you put it in reverse, this automatically comes up, but maybe when you're trying to straighten out, you know, you still want to see for a minute. So as an example, you go into reverse, great. Now you're about done parking. Okay, so when you put it into drive, now that disappears. So if you push the camera, at least now you can see that again. You can keep seeing it. So it does do that. You just have to push that camera button. Then traction control. And this other one I'll have to figure out. So, as for this light that's flashing, you don't see that in person. It's only on camera. So it's probably scanning everything that you're doing. So button-wise, real quick, I found it's kind of interesting. You have your volume on this side, and that's where you would expect for maybe your next song and everything, but that's on this side. So it's kind of interesting as you're driving along to be like volume up, and then with your other hand, change the track. I'm just used to it being over here. Something just to get used to. Then you have lane assist and cruise control on that side. Then this is how you're going up and down on a lot of these menus. What I found was interesting on the menus, a few things. First of all, when you hit back and you go to my view, now as we scroll back up and down with this, you'll see the different drive modes. So we're gonna go all the way to the top first screen, which is calm view. So when you then press the OK button, calm view basically only shows you your speedometer as well as miles to empty, temperature outside, very few things, and that's probably why it's calm, so it's not so busy. Okay, so if we go down to the second screen, driver assistance, when you're in this one, I didn't really see too much that was going on, so that'll probably pop up as you're driving. Next screen, map view. So this one's helpful. When you click on that one, you have the map, and my phone is paired with it, so I don't know if it's 100%. It's probably using my phone's information for this. Okay, so as we scroll down again, you have your fuel economy, about 21 miles per gallon here. Next one down, this is off-road, so it tells you the degrees that your steering's turned there at the bottom, and then if you're up and down, side to side on your angle. Okay, engine coolant and transmission coolant. I found it interesting that those are the only two things that it gives you. I know being a turbocharged engine, it has all the information for air intake, charge temperatures, and cylinder head and all that kind of stuff, but it only gives you those two temperatures. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, seat belts. This will just tell you which seat belt's in use, and if somebody's sitting in it, it'll go red if they're not buckled up. Next one, I thought this was funny. Because when you go to configure and you say, okay, here's all the ones that we're looking at, and you say, I want to add my trip, it'll say, sorry, you can only have 7 screens at a time. I don't know how much more memory it really would have taken for them to just allow this to have all the screens on here. So you'll go through and say, okay, I'll take off my off-road one, I'll take off the seat belt one, now I can add my trailer lights screen and the tire pressure one, and you still can't see the trip 1 and 2, right? So now that those are selected, and those two probably appear here now at the bottom. So here's trailer light status with nothing connected right now, engine coolant. Okay, so anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting that it won't let you see everything at once. I'd say probably the biggest disappointment is that you have only a low button. And so basically when you're in drive and you hit low, it allows the engine to rev all the way up basically to red line, and it just keeps it higher in those gears. So the disappointment, there's no paddle shifters. So the ST model of all, I think, should have paddle shifters. So there's no way to really shift gears. You're left with just drive, park, neutral. So even when it is going up high RPM and you want to shift to the next gear, you have to wait for it to do that. Okay, next you have drive mode. So you just push down on this button scroll side to side. So pushing down gives it to you. I really like their animations. I thought these were really cool. So rough, uneven, mixed terrain. You go over to wet and icy, snowy roads. Then everyday balanced driving. It shows a cool picture of like a city. Then over to eco mode with a nice green leaf. Sport mode. That's cool, but again, you don't have paddle shifters or anything. Can't really do much with it. And then tow haul mode. So cool animations. Okay, so just the headlight selections here, whether or not you want it to turn off after a while, and opening the rear. Really not a lot of buttons. All my wife ever cares about is the size of the cup holders. It seem like they're a little on the small side, but they'd probably fit your narrow bottom Stanley Cup. Inside here, it's pretty deep. That is where you put your key fob if it ever dies. If you need to start the vehicle and your battery's dead, you just set it in that. So in here, it looks like you just have two USB-C. Up here, you have the USB-C or USB, and both of them, or should I say either of them, will do the Apple CarPlay. And your 12 volt, we'll call it. I do find the gas pedal very odd how far it goes down. So like, even when you put your foot here, you can move it. You're not gonna drive with your toe down here because then you can't hit the brake. So sometimes you wanna just kind of put your foot off of the gas. You never really can. It's always gonna be on the gas. And what you find yourself doing is having to hold your foot higher for the brake. So your heel gets a little tired. So kind of an interesting pedal setup. So if you pop it only once, this is where you would be looking for that latch, right? So that's why it says 2 times. The second time pops it again. So the ST line is the 2.3 liter 300 horsepower. The regular ST gets the 3 liter with 400 horsepower. So being me, I'd opt with the bigger 400 horsepower one. I do like the backup camera. A lot of cars, when you turn, it doesn't show you where you're going to end up. This one does, and it has that top 360 degree view. So that looks really good. The only thing with this is as soon as you put it into drive, the camera turns off, and you might still want to know where you need to pull forward. So it'd be nice if that camera still stayed up automatically. But there is a workaround about that. You can then just push the button for the forward camera. Then that forward camera does turn off about 5 or 10 miles an hour after you start driving. I really do love the Apple CarPlay. It worked flawlessly, connected or disconnected. I like being hardwired into, just so you're saving your battery. So that worked perfectly. I do like that they also give you USB or USB-C. The new iPhones have USB-C on the left there, so instead of having to buy another cable like I did here for my other car, it's good that it gives you both of those options. This is really easy to use, but really not a lot going on here. There is a hill descent mode. I basically just went down in low. So coming down all the way from Tahoe, it was keeping it about 4,000 RPM right at 50 miles an hour, which was the speed limit, just in low. The engine coolant temperature went way down. The transmission went up a little bit. It basically kept it at the high RPM, like 4,000. Brightness. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Idle time. You know, I mean, you can go through all of these. That would take us all day. So just kind of showing you the main stuff here. The rear seats fold down pretty easily. You just pull the tab up here and push them down. The headrests automatically fold. Looks like there's enough room for 2 people back here, deep cup holders, and only on one side you get 2 USB-C chargers, so no USB. So make sure you have a USB-C attachment for your kids who are in the back. But it folds down pretty easy here, and when all the seats are down, it's pretty flat all the way from the back to the front. So again, I love me these heated seats, and they are different levels, so you don't have to have them on high all the time. Heated steering wheel is great. So if you look below the headlight, there's a fog light, and that fog light will come on with the turn signal. So that's a really nice feature. It was very bright when we were turning, so you'll notice that when you turn at night with the turn signal on. So when you turn on the turn signal, watch this light. I don't know if you can tell the difference there. You can see it right around there. Look on that, how that fog light really comes in handy when you're turning. They definitely do need another handle here for people getting in, especially if they're a little bit older. It makes it really difficult. The only handle is the one that comes down right here. The CarPlay is just as good on this without the cord plugged in as it is over wireless. Usually on other cars, if it's wireless, the quality is not as good on the songs you're listening to or anything. So it acts literally the same with your phone connected or not. Super nice display here. Wish it had cooled seats as well, but the heated seats are great, and the heated steering wheel is fantastic. Goes around the whole steering wheel. There really aren't a lot of controls down here for the AC. It's all done right here. So it is all touch screen. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes a button is just nice to have, an actual knob. A lot of this you're kind of touching by the screen, and that's okay, but sometimes it's nice just to have a knob. But it's pretty easy to use. There's not a lot going on. But as far as gauges go, I really wish it had a few more things. A boost gauge would be sweet since it's turbocharged. It's cool to see that and know. Some more temperature sensors. Usually the car's going to know cylinder head temperature and some other things on these newer Fords. So all it really tells you is engine and transmission. It'd be nice to have some more information that we know the car's using. I do like the knob. Notice how it's locked. And when you actually start the car, then it'll rotate. Okay, but the big complaint is all you really have is low when you're in drive, and so it'll let it rev up pretty high. It'll let it rev up pretty high, but there's no paddle shifters or nothing to shift it manually. I think they did a really good job on this texture, and the color looks really nice. Looks very high end. And the red stitching looks great. Okay, the rear seats, this one does go independently from the other. I always check for the anchors. These are easily exposed for your car seat, easy to see. There's not one in the middle, so it's just on the outer sides there. Armrests. Controls here. Okay, to get in the back, you're gonna push that forward and it slides. Very tight for an adult back here. Put your feet right. It's just 2 seats, car seat anchor on each of these. There and there. So for the front door, it does have the keyless entry just by touch as long as you have the key fob in your pocket. But the door panels, the stitching, everything looks really good on this. I think they did a really good job designing it. and the feel and the look. Again, I really like the seats. I think they did a really good job, which is huge for a car because you're sitting in them every time you're driving them. And maybe it could use a little bit more of the side bolster adjustments and some things like that. The steering wheel is very comfortable and easy to use. Lots of buttons going on here, but you get used to those. Huge infotainment screen there, so had no trouble seeing that, and it worked great with the phone. And just all the materials look pretty good. Nothing too fancy. No sunroof on this one. Nothing going on up here that's too good. So this is like a mesh screen that's covering the speakers, so a nice way to kind of blend that in. But the feel of these is really nice, the metal that's on here as you turn the vents, so they did a good job on that. And the start-stop button, it's nice to have rather than the old key. It's pretty common these days. And the digital is really cool when you first start the car up and when you first get in. They have some really good things showing there. Again, that flashing light, you don't see that. That's going on like on an infrared scale. As for the key fob, it's pretty normal. The key fob is your traditional Ford. It has the unlock, lock, and then if you hit lock and then the button below that 2 times, it'll auto start and run until you get in the car. Then you have to hit the push button. You also have the 2 times to open the rear hatch and then the alarm button. There is a button that you can push down on it, and it will get you the physical key that you can use to open the doors and whatnot if you get locked out. And if you put it in here and twist it, then you can pop that open to change the battery, but we won't get into that right now. So overall, it's a very nice vehicle. So thanks for watching. Please check the video description. I have other videos that are similar to this. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments. Thanks, guys.
It's a video of how good this looks.